Hi guys, I'm going to take a look at the standard assets in Unity 3D, which is a good place to start if you're new to Unity. To start, open up the Unity Hub. Make sure you're using Unity 2018 or 2019 by going to the Installs tab. Then create a new Unity project. If you're new to Unity, you might want to start with the 3D or 3D with extras template. I'm going to pick the lightweight template because that's what my current projects are using. And I can show you how to change legacy materials for use with the lightweight render pipeline. Depending on which template you picked, it might take a couple of minutes to actually create the project. If you chose the 3D with extras template or the lightweight template, Unity will display a sample scene. I'm just going to create a folder so I can move all these assets out of the way. If you look in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll see that Unity is baking. That means it's auto-generating the light maps for this scene. That happens by default, and you can switch it off. To switch it off, go into the lighting settings under rendering. Then untick auto-generate. It's a good idea to disable auto-generate if you've got a slow computer. You can generate the lighting for your scene at any time manually. To install the standard assets, go to the Asset Store within Unity. And log in to your Unity account. Once you've logged in, use the search bar at the top to search for standard assets. And select the standard assets from Unity Technologies. As you can see, I've already downloaded it, so I just need to import it. When you've finished downloading it, just click on the import button. When you click on the import button, you'll be presented with the Import Unity Package window, which will show you all the assets it's going to import into your project. As you can see, there's quite a lot included in the standard assets. Just click on the Import button to import those assets into your project. It may take a few minutes for this to finish. When importing any assets from the asset store or anywhere else, you might see some errors when it's finished importing. Most of the time you can ignore those errors. Just to make sure, if you click on the clear button in your console window, it should clear all the errors from that window. If there's still errors in there, it means that there's script errors, which you'll have to fix yourself. You shouldn't have any problems with the standard assets though. When you've finished importing the standard assets, there'll be 2 additional folders in your project. I'm going to take you through the sample scenes. The sample scenes will give you a good start no matter what type of game you want to create. As I'm using the lightweight render pipeline, there will be problems with some of the materials in the scenes, so I'll show you how to manually change those to work with the lightweight render pipeline. The 2D character scene is a good scene to take a look at if you're interested in creating a 2D side-scroller game. The scene includes platforms so that the character can walk and run and jump around, and kinetic objects that the character can push, and the character itself. All the scenes included in the standard assets are playable, so you can have an actual play around with those scenes to get a feel for how they actually play. You can see a list of game objects in the hierarchy. If you click on those, you can see the properties in the inspector, which you can have a play around with, so you can see how it affects the gameplay by changing those properties. As you can see here, all the materials in the scene are pink. That's because they're legacy materials and they need changing to work with the lightweight render pipeline. There is a way you can change all the materials in the project to work with the lightweight render pipeline all in one go, but I recommend you do each material individually. That way you can make sure that the albedo textures all get copied over into the new materials properly. Just select an object in the scene, click on the albedo texture to see which file it's using, then change the shader type to match which pipeline you're using, in this case the lightweight render pipeline. Then drag the texture over to the base map property of the material. If necessary, change the colour as well. If the material isn't using an albedo texture, you can just change the shader type straight away. Now all the materials have been changed, you can actually see what's going on in the scene and start to play it. All the scenes use the default input controls, which you can set in your project settings. That's enough of my amazing flying skills. Moving on. The next scene is the same as the previous one, except it's showing you how you can use waypoints to control an AI aircraft. The next scene is similar to the playable aircraft scene before, but it's using a different aircraft with different controls. Three good scenes there, giving you a few ideas if you want to create a flight sim type game. Now moving on to car racing. Some materials can be a little tricky converting over, just bear with it. If working with a transparent texture, you might need to change the surface type of the material, blending mode, alpha clipping, and the transparency of the colour. Controls might take a bit of getting used to, but you can change those, as mentioned, in the project settings. Standard assets also include touch screen controls as well, so you can deploy to iPhone, iPad and Android devices. And of course there's joystick and gamepad support as well. The next scene is another car one, but it shows you how you can use waypoints to control an AI car going around a track. Next up is a first-person demo with an obstacle course that you can walk around. And like with all the other scenes, you can change the properties of the controller to see how it affects the gameplay. There's also a third-person scene with a playable character and kinetic objects that you can push around. Unlike with the other AI scenes, this one isn't actually technically an AI. This demonstrates how you can use point and click to control a character on the screen. This scene's a little different. It demonstrates some of the particles that you can create to enhance your game, like explosions, fire, steam and water, and how they can affect game objects in your scene. As shown here, you can also pause the scene if you encounter any problems with materials, so you can change them on the fly. and last of all, a scene similar to the third person scene, except you're controlling a ball instead of a person. So, if you're new to Unity, these sample scenes should get you started with whatever type of game you're thinking of making, and without writing any code. Hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching. Also, please pledge your support on my Patreon channel. It will help fund my new game and get yourself a mention in my videos and also in my game.